Hello and welcome to the 39th episode of the But I'm Knitting podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. You can find me on Ravelry as Mona Lee 81. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter as Rome_Raven. I'm active somewhat on Instagram, not really on Twitter, but hey, if you want to follow me on there and get absolutely nothing, that's completely up to you. So this week I have one work in progress and a new cast on, which I talked about from before. I think I did last week. I can't remember. I think I did last week. And I have a couple of new purchases. I guess I'll just start with the new purchases because you can actually see them right there in the camera. So I finally got the yarn for my grandfather's sweater. And I think last week I had talked about going and buying one of the big balls of red heart or something for it. I ended up finding for about the same price or a little bit less for the exact amount of yarn I needed was this three skeins of Caron Simply Soft in the colorway Off-White, which was pretty much exactly what I was looking for. So nothing fancy about it, just worsted weight, Caron Simply Soft. Ooh, there's a black spot on this. Oh no, it can come off. I'm not worried. It's not stained. So that's pretty much my only purchase that I made yarn-wise. And it's not sock yarn, so I'm still keeping towards my promise. I actually did go... I have to go find it. I got... was it needles? Yes, I purchased needles from Romney. I guess for the North location. I have no idea where I put it. I threw it in a bag. I guess if I find it next week, I'll show it to you. By then it will probably be in my knitting project if I do cast it on. So I did not work on any of my socks again this week. I'm probably going to work on one of them tonight, mostly due to the fact that I have the guild meeting and socks are very useful for working. It's easy to work on while you're sitting down in a meeting. I'm actually looking forward to it tonight. Eric from Sticks Plus Twine is actually giving a talk tonight about knitting for men's clothing. So I'm looking forward to going to that one tonight. And apparently if you bring a guy, you can get in for free. Too bad all of the guys in my life don't care or they live too far away and can't really come. Sorry. So I will talk about my work in progress. So before that I had cast on my Find Your Fade. And I've made some progress. Hold on, check this out. I am now fully into my third color. Is this the right way? No, this is the right way. Oh, sorry. My yarn is getting tangled around my needles in places that it doesn't need to be tangled in. This has been my primary project for the week. And I think the only reason that it's been like that is because I can't work on my other project on any other time, but I'll explain that later. So, here's how it's grown so far. So it can make an appropriate bib now if necessary. So last week I was doing this lovely mesh section where you can see that pink stitch marker. I'll probably change to something that's a bit more contrasty. And then I put in my next color. So I'm now starting on the lacy part of my third color. And once I finish that, then it's going to be transitioning into my fourth color, which is in this bag. Which reminds me, I need to take this out. Yeah, this was the second color. We're not using this anymore. We're done with it. So it needs to come out of the bag so I don't get things confused. So my third color, I believe, is Woolmees. Yeah, it's my Woolmees twin, AL13, I think is the color, or 13AL, I can't remember. It's one of the two. It's a simple gray. I've used it for heel cuffs and toes of other projects I have. And since I have not done an entire pair of socks out of these, I have so much of these yarns that I keep using it for like little pieces for different things. I've used it for heel cuffs and toes. I'm pretty certain this is more than enough to get the section done. So this is my third color. Well, my fourth color. So that means I need to start putting my fifth one, which is this one. What is this one? Manos del Uruguay. I don't remember the colorway for it. But I got this one a while ago. I started a pair of socks. I didn't like how it was turning out, so I took it out. So this is going to be the color I do after I do the fourth color. Either way, you may or may not see it next week. So I'll put those in, and they go into my Star Wars bag that I do not remember who I got it from, but I ordered it online quite a few years ago. Star Wars comics, which I have never once read. But that's okay. I thought it was cool and I bought it. So that was my work in progress for this week. The needles I'm using are Lykke, Lykke. I'm pretty certain that's how it is. Lykke. Anyways, it's a US 4 that I'm using. I actually kind of like them. I think they're pretty nice. I don't know if I'm starting to rub off the varnish on them with the way that I knit, because I can actually hear the wood starting to scrape together as I knit. I'm not sure if anybody else has that experience. If you have, let me know. I just want to know if it's a normal thing or not, because then eventually it's going to end up turning out like my Knitter's Pride ones. So then there's not much of a difference. So there's that. My next project, I started this one on Sunday. I actually started it like Saturday night at midnight, just so I could get in as much, in a sense, knitting time, considering I had to go to work that day. So the project that I'm working on is the Doodler. I said I was going to do it. I started it. So I'm knitting it along with Christy Glass and her daughter. They're doing a Sunday knit along for it, and I wanted to do it from before, but I finally got around to it now. So this is what I managed to do all day Sunday, which was this. So I'm still in the middle of doing wedge 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm finished the 5th wedge, and I so desperately want to continue, but I said I'm only going to do this on Sundays, so it gives me more time to devote to other projects. I'm pretty much starting to become like a monogamous knitter. It's kind of weird. I'm not used to myself doing that. So the yarn I'm using are all yarns that I dyed by myself. So my main color, or my color A, I think it's called, is this one. This is my Vintage Tea. Electric Mayhem Vintage Tea is its full name. I'm loving the way that this is knitting up. It's knitting up so much nicer than I thought it was, than even I expected it. Like, I don't know how good quality you can get to see, but you can see it. It's got grays with hints of purple and a little bit of orange, and, you know, but it's all overwashed with gray, and I think it looks so nice. You can even see a little bit of pink popping out and green. It's a beautiful color. I love it so much. My next color that I'm using, which is the contrasting, which is color B, I believe, is, I think it's called, what do I call it? Antique Rose, I think, is this one. It's a pink, kind of like a brownish, darkish color, but it's not really dark, sorry. It has a little bit of a brownish tinge to it, because that's what I was originally trying to make. But it's actually a color I can repeat. I'm so excited. So this color, this is my contrasting one. As you can see it contrasting on there. You can see it, yeah, it's the pink lines. Looks very nice. I'm actually contemplating what color I should use for the third portion of it. I can see if I can find a color. I don't have any color. No, I got nothing I can actually use to show it to you because of where it is. Unless, maybe. Okay. If you look here, up here, you can see there's that wavy section. That's like the bottom of the shawl. So the color that I have set aside for that so far is this color, which does not have a name. I think this is one of the Kool-Aid ones I did. It doesn't have a name. It's a very nice color. I like it. That's great. But I'm not certain if it's the color that I want to use with this shawl. So I may end up changing it later on, but it's caked up and it's ready to go, so that if I reach that point and I like it, I can continue doing it with it. If not, I am going to have to go looking through my stash or dyeing a skein to see if I can find something that I like. But I've got a long ways to go. I'm assuming I have at least a month before I have to even worry about that. But even so, I don't think I'm going to go that fast on it. So I'm loving the progress that I have made on this shawl. I just really wish I could make it further, but I promised myself I'd only do it on Sundays. So the needles that I'm using are Knitter's Pride. I don't remember exactly which ones these are called. These are like their basic wooden circular needles in the US 4. So it's coming along nicely. I didn't even realize, I started to recognize, like, I like the fact that it does this kind of like a zigzag step type of thing like that. I think this is the edge I end up picking up for the outer border. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how well that turns out. I think it's going to look really nice. So that actually is it for everything I've been knitting this week. I haven't touched anything else. I haven't purchased anything else. I'm like looking around to see if there's anything else. And I've said that word way too many times. So that is going to be it for now regarding knitting. I haven't added any squares to my blanket, but I already said I'm not going to be showing anything for that even until next week. So we'll see if I get around to knitting a few more squares coming up. So it's pretty much free for all talk. So I am kind of excited. I watched a show I was looking forward to since I heard about it, and that is a show, Black Lightning. I'm a very big fan of superheroes, hence my Captain America t-shirt. When I found out Arrow was going to be coming on TV, I was excited. I watched that. I was even more excited when The Flash came out. And then I watch all the DC TV universe shows. I watch every single one of them. To the point that pretty much takes up all of my TV watching for the week. I heard them talking about Black Lightning, and he was a character I had never heard about. And the only reason I was really interested in him was because the main character, whose name I still can't remember, even though I watched the show yesterday, I have to rewatch it again to get more detail, is being played by Cress Williams. And I know who he is because I used to watch a show, Living Single, back in the day with Queen Latifah and Kim Fields and Erica. I can't remember. She was Pam on The Cosby Show. I can't remember her name, but I loved that show. And Cress Williams would come in and play Queen Latifah's characters, on again, off again boyfriend from like back in the day, and I loved him from then. I saw him as a couple guest stints on ER when I actually used to watch that. Was it ER? No, Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, and I loved his character. I like him as an actor, and I'm actually happy that this is the first major role that I can think of where he's a star. Don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. He could have had other parts that I just was not aware of. And then I also found out that China Anne McClain is going to be playing one of his daughters. I've seen her on TV since she was a little kid. I'm excited to see where she goes with this role as well. But he's a black superhero who's a principal at a school who lives in the inner city and is doing his best to get his community to do better for itself. But of course, there's always opposition, because if there was an opposition, there would be no need for a superhero show. It'd be really boring to watch. So we're watching him now having to take up back a mantle that he dropped a long time ago and seeing how he deals with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. He's also, I would consider him an older superhero in comparison to the ones on the DC TV universe. He's grown. He's got two kids, one who's in university, one who's in high school still. He's grown. He's lived his life. He's got, like, he's not just like, I don't know how to describe it, but I want to see where they take this character. On top of that, coming up in movie theaters next month in February is Black Panther, and I am looking forward to seeing that as well. I'm probably not going to be one of those, just see it as soon as it comes out, because I've heard there's some theaters already sold out of their pre-selling tickets, the early bird tickets. People have already bought them, and I don't know how that is. I'm probably going to wait and see if I can see it sometime in the middle of the week when it won't be as busy, because hopefully in the middle of the day most people will not be at the theater. That's my hope. So I'm looking forward to that movie when that comes out as well, because I will be there to see that in theaters. That is pretty much it for entertainment and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to leave it and cut it off now, because I actually have to get ready to go to the guild meeting, because I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully I'll have this uploaded before I leave my house. We'll see. So that's for everyone. Have a good day, and I thank you for spending your knitting and crafting time with me, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye!